Hi folks and modelers, welcome back to another build update on the CVN-65 USS Enterprise from Mini Hobby Models at 1/350 scale. And this will be part 16. So for this week, I have completed up all the elevator decks. So let me just run through with you quickly what I've done. So basically there are all these 4 beams over here and the netting at the side. So that will be the photo etch. So I started with deck number 4 and I followed instruction to actually cut the ribs. So they do tell you to cut out the ribs to fit the these beams on top of that rib. So but when I did that, kind of looked a bit awkward because the width became a bit smaller. So for this deck I have cut it, so I just put the photo etch. But for the rest of the decks I did not follow instruction to cut the ribs. So instead I have filled up the gaps with plastic beams to raise up these photo etch beams here. And also I think that would work better because this piece that is provided for deck 3 and 2 is actually quite high up, and even if you cut the ribs down there, this will not fit because it will actually collide with this piece unless you cut up this photo etch piece, which I don't think it's a good idea to cut up photo etch. So I filled it up, but it's a bit rough. It's a rough work. I did not really do too much cleaning because these areas are very almost not visible, and there's also a lot of super glue smearing. And this one was because I had to take this piece out a couple of times because it didn't really fit nicely to when I put it to the hull. So I think a lot of dry fitting should be done, because instruction doesn't tell you how much this should protrude from this side or this side. So when you attach this to the hull, it will hit a lot of things. And later I will show you what I'm talking about on the hull. But let me just finish up here first. So deck 2 and 3 does come with these side pieces of the photo etch, which is nice, but they did not provide for 1 and 4. So it would have been nicer if they provided for all the decks and let the modelers decide which decks to be raised or lowered. And on the netting, there is some issues. I started out with this first, so the angle's a bit big. I think on the rest of the elevated decks I made the angle to be much smaller. And also if you were to make this angle much bigger, I think the netting will come lower and the decals will not fit into this area here. So these are the things that I found out. And also these 2 pieces of photo etch, for the 3 pieces I did not follow instructions. It's supposed to be higher up, like on this deck number 4 here, and this will be according to instruction. And actually the real ship looks like this. But the problem with this is when you fit this piece in there, it overlaps with the netting and the other top piece here. So the netting will not sit flat on this surface, because this will be in the way. So I did some adjustment to lower it, and it works better for me. So those were the issues with the photo etch, and then I got the decals on, and I think, as you know, the Starfighter decals, especially these caution strips, are a bit small, so I couldn't get it all to exactly on the edge, and it's short on these both sides, but this is, I think, the best I can do. And for these markings over here on the side of the deck, so these markings were a little bit confusing. I did have some problems with this, and I did had a doubt on the Starfighter decals. So there was one photo showing this, and this red square was actually on this side. So let me just move over to my laptop and just show you what I'm talking about here. So basically this photo, so this one, actually I found out later that this photo is actually from 2012. So the markings are a little bit different. That red square is on the opposite direction. And also in 2012, there was only 2 markings on deck 3 and 2, and deck 1 and 4 doesn't have these markings over here. So I did some checking, and then I found another photo which is a little bit blurry. I hope you can see. So this is in year 2003 to 2006, I believe. And so this would be correct. The red square is on this side. So I am sure the Starfighter decal is referring to this error. So for deck number 2, I was a bit confused because Starfighter decal did mention left and right. So then when I saw this photo, yeah, it made sense, because I was thinking that this could be on all 4 decks. So I didn't know why they indicated 2 markings on deck number 2. I was thinking it was a mistake, but actually it's not. So for deck number 1, that one is actually like that. So I got all this figured out, and but the thing is, these markings actually probably were there. I don't know if it's there in the year in the 90s, and because in the 80s I've seen some photos and there are actually no markings on these on the side of the decks. But in the 90s I cannot find any photos, and in 2003, so it is according to this. I know my error is in the 90s, but I decided to just put them on anyway since it's nice. So these are all the elevator decks, and let me just show you the hull. So today I have the hull on my desk here, and for the hull side there are these photo etch provided on only on elevator 3 and 2 on this side here. And there was one problem I encountered, which the Edwards instruction indicates to cut this L piece here and to leave this this piece there. So I had that I had that piece actually on this surface up there, but those beams over here, again, it did not fit because of that piece. So I had to actually take out that piece so that all these photo etch would fit nicely in here and to be aligned with this piece over here. So you can actually cut that entire that L piece out, I believe. So now let me just try to simulate something to show you. So basically this deck will, I think this is number 3. So wait, okay, so let me get number 2. And so what I'm talking about is these beams here. So actually these beams are actually too long. The dimensions are not right, because I think you can see that it is hitting the if it were to be raised up, it will hit on both sides of this sponson here. But I'm gonna be lowering this, so I'll just leave it there. It's not gonna be raised up. So these are some of the dimension issues on the PEs. And these PEs, I don't think you can cut it up, because it is actually 2 pieces glued together, and this is another piece. So if you were to cut this up, it will be very difficult, and it's not a good idea to cut photo etch. It will start actually twisting, bending, and the shape will just run out. So elevator number 3 would be here. And this also, if you look at that last beam over there, it will, if it were to be raised up, it will hit this, either this side or this side. But I'm just gonna lower this, so no issue there. And for deck number 1, this one I'm gonna raise up. So for decks that you're gonna be raising up, you really have to do a lot of dry fit, because if anything is out of, it protrudes out wrongly, it's not gonna fit in there. So I think for this piece is, I believe it's okay. It will sit in there. And since deck number 4, I'm gonna I'm gonna lower it. I'm not worried about the beams hitting anything. So that is some of the things which I encountered. So I think that's about it for my update this time. And I think now, just to recap a little bit, I'm already about 6 months into this build now. I started somewhere early in March. So I spent, I think, most of the time scratch building the interior. So this part 4 is almost completed, except for the jet blast deflector photo etch, which I will probably do last. So yeah. Anyway, the plan after this, I would continue doing all the photo etch. And I keep saying I will do this, but I always end up doing something else. But I think definitely next will be all this photo etch along the hull area and the deck. Maybe I'll take a couple of weeks, then I'll move on to the island, which I'm estimating will take me about a month to do that. Then move on to the air wings, and should be completed. So I think I'm looking at another 2-3 months time frame to complete up this ship. But definitely I will try to get it completed before the year ends. So yeah, I hope you like this video, and if you can subscribe, give me a thumbs up, or share the video, and I will definitely come back with more updates until it's completed. So until then, happy modeling for now, and cheers, goodbye.